Hello, hello. Hi, my little precious gems. Welcome or welcome back to this cozy little tarot spot where I am your host and I read tarot for you, and maybe it helps you. I am your host, Raven, aka Boyish Empress. Just a brief disclaimer, it is kind of thunderstorming a bit where I am, so you may or may not hear some rumbles and tumbles, and I hope that it is more comforting or vibey than it is annoying or terrifying. So if you hear storm sounds, just know that it's, just Mother Nature doing her thing. Hello, hello, hello. It's been a little bit since I recorded. Life is life. It is what it is. I'm excited to be recording today, though, and I am doing a pick a card today for you all, a collective, as usual. And this pick a card is going to be focused on strengthening your connection to spirit. So I'm going to look into each pile under the lens of how can you develop your spiritual senses? How can you build a deeper relationship to spirit and to your guides or to your spirituality in general? And kind of like what are the actions that you could take, but also what are some of the plant spirits that are in your sphere? I also pulled an animal familiar card. So we're going to look into kind of the energies that are surrounding your spiritual energy as well. So if that is of interest to you, I'm going to move into our card selection thing. But if you want to just like leave it here and choose in your own way, that's totally cool. But for my folks who want a little bit more guidance in choosing, stick around and we're going to get into it together. So if you are new to my videos or to tarot readings in general or tarot readings on YouTube in general, my intention for this pick a card is that it's a collective message, but there are different piles for different energies. So I really want you to pick the pile that's calling out to you and feels right for you. And that doesn't mean that I'll be able to that doesn't mean that every single detail I pick up on in the pile will resonate with you necessarily, but it does mean that if you're using your intuition, then you're picking the one out of the three that's going to resonate the best. And that is my desire for you, is that you get the most accurate reading that you possibly can from a tarot reader on YouTube. Okay, so if you want a completely personalized message, I do provide personal readings. I'll leave my email address down below and you can hit me up there. But that's just a disclaimer. These are collective messages, but you might be surprised as to what I'm able to pick up on, through the interwebs. Okay, so let's get into it. First off, I want to take a couple of deep breaths together. Just in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's do 2 more. Ready? We're letting go of the day thus far. And settling in to the present moment, allowing ourselves to be here and allowing ourselves to be receptive and open to some guidance from spirit today. You can choose a pile based on which one looks the best to you. You can choose a pile based on the stone on top, based on a feeling in your belly you get. I don't like whatever makes sense for you, but I'm gonna hover my hand over each of the piles and give you like 10 to 20 seconds for you to feel into the energy of that pile. So on the left, we have pile number 1. Show you the crystal. I want to show you the crystal. There we go. I think this is some type of jasper. Mystery stone. And then in the middle here, we've got pile number 2. And this is a rubian kyanite crystal. And then on the right, we have pile number 3. This is a sodalite crystal. Okay, if you still need a little while to decide, you can pause the video here and do what you need to do. For everyone else who's already chosen, I will meet you at your pile selection down below. See you there. Okay, pile number 1 choosers, welcome to your video. Welcome to your reading, in which I will guide you into some tangible advice and some spiritual advice about how to ground deeper into your spirituality, how to identify. Hopefully we'll be able to see, you know, what clairsenses are really strong for you, but also what actions you could take that could really propel you forward in that direction. So let's figure out how to strengthen your spirituality. I am starting with the Animal Spirit deck by Krans. That's the top card here. And my intention with choosing that card was kind of like an animal familiar vibe. So this is going to be an animal energy that is just within your sphere and kind of wants to lead this reading and say hi to you. And it's going to give us some information about who you are, and more so like what your energy is like, and hopefully like what your spiritual life is like as well. So let's see who showed up for you today. Who is your animal spirit familiar? You got the hyena. This is a juicy one. Okay, so the first thing that I want to note about the hyena spirit is, and I feel like we all know this about hyena's energy, they're a jokester or a trickster energy. So this tells me that you may have an affinity for trickster energies, trickster spirits, major Loki vibes, obviously, that's the big dog, but you know, Loki's not the only trickster energy that we can choose to work with. And you may have an affinity for mischief just in your daily life. You may have, I'm hearing a sick sense of humor, or just perhaps like a morbid sense of humor. There is definitely this like comfort around using humor as a coping mechanism, and to a certain extent forming your personality around the jokester energy, forming your identity around being able to communicate through humor. So this is an important thing to you, and it's actually coming up as something that could be very helpful to utilize in your spiritual life, which is interesting. I am getting that some of you may do stand-up comedy, or if you don't, you would be really good at it. And there's something about like, if you were to, it's kind of an oxymoron, is that the right term? I'm hearing take humor seriously, which is a really funny phrase, but it's just this idea that you can use your skill of humor to benefit you, and actually to reach out to people and to make people connect to you. So I do feel like you're this outward facing person, that you are a performer of some sort, or sorry, I'm just moving my camera strap here, it was casting a shadow. You have the potential to be a very influential person, and I feel strongly that this is through the sphere of performance art. And usually the hyena comes in as kind of a warning to use humor wisely and to not overly lean on it when you feel not good about yourself. So that is important to bring up, like, just to let you know not to lean on humor as a way to punish yourself, because there's this tragic comedy around the hyena energy, and also around people who are performers, specifically performers who try to make people laugh. There's a reason why we would want to bring people love, and why we would want to extend entertainment to people, why we would want to kind of put on a show for people at the expense of ourselves. And often we find that amazing, extremely talented comedians struggle deeply with deep pain and suffering. And it's kind of like this two sides of the same coin thing, where, like, if you're very in tune with comedy, you're very in tune with tragedy. So I'm not sure, like, kind of what that is all about, but it doesn't feel like a negative message. It's just, I felt the need to bring up that two sides of the same coin thing, just to let you know that, like, there is a point in time where you have to be earnest instead of putting on a show. But with that being said, don't devalue your skill in comedy, and don't devalue your sense of humor, because it's actually very important for you, specifically in developing a connection with spirit, that you don't take it too seriously. So around your spiritual life, I do feel this energy of not wanting to go so deep into something because it just feels so intense. And sorry, I got choked up for a second there. It feels so intense to you because in a lot of different cultures and in a lot of different spiritual traditions, there is this aspect of reverence around it, and there is this aspect of being very serious and dedicated to it. But I want to let you know that, like, you don't have to treat your spirituality as so precious. It can be whatever you want it to be. And for whatever reason, like, I really feel like if you don't already work with trickster gods or trickster energies, if you decided to go down that path or found yourself down that path, you would be taught a lot about letting go of the seriousness of it. I feel like for some of you, you already are down the spiritual path, and I'm sure, like, if you clicked on this video, you at least have a curiosity about it. But I think for a lot of you, you're already, like, down the road. Like, you've already done things, you've researched things, you've, like, put plans into place, you have a lot of spiritual tools to use, and you feel like you have some baseline knowledge, but there's some difficulty in, like, kind of getting your hands dirty and getting into the craft. And I think that need to be precious, or that, like, misconception that it needs to be serious all the time, is keeping you from getting your hands dirty and getting into the craft. So that is a blockage that's coming up. Just it's important for you to cater your spirituality to the type of personality that you have. And I think that most of you, if not all of you, are the type of people who need humor, and you need lightness, and you need a certain amount of play and fun and novelty even. Like, you need to keep things fun and interesting for yourself. And if you're interested in deity work, I feel like tricksters would be really great for you, because there's such an air of, like, freedom around them, and there's such an air of, like, you can literally do whatever you want with this life. Like, there are no rules. Of course, we should build up our moral centers and, like, decide what's right and wrong for us. But, like, in terms of, like, things that are societally acceptable and shit like that, like, I feel like your team just wants to, like you're putting this barrier in front of yourself, and your spirit team just wants you to knock it open, because once it's open and you feel this space of, like, being able to be yourself, it's going to be so enriching for you, and you're going to kind of like go buck wild. Like I see you as a very chaotic person, but you're able to use it to your advantage. So I love that. Very, very strong messages for you in regards to the animal spirit familiar. If you're really interested in this hyena energy, maybe like watch some documentaries where hyenas are featured, or just like research hyenas. But if you don't already work with animal spirits, the hyena would be a great choice for you, just because it's showing up strongly in your reading here, and it's helping you learn about when to be earnest and serious and dedicated about something, and when to just kind of throw what am I trying to say? Throw caution to the wind and just kind of be a mess, but like in an amazing, beautiful way. So yeah, I have to take my sweatshirt off. I'm sweating. I'll be right back. So similar to how I pulled the animal card, I also pulled some plant cards, which are right here. And we're going to see, you know, what plants are showing up for you, and kind of the keywords that we're looking at in terms of how to strengthen your spirituality. So let's see what plant allies are here to say hello and guide this reading further. We've got spruce, travel, movement, and openness. Yes, what I was saying about like breaking things open and just like feeling free, that makes a lot of sense. Next we've got turkey tail, unknown, mystery, and unsettled. That is a mushroom, by the way. I felt the need to tell you. Okay, and then bee balm, community, collective, and expectation. Wow. I feel like the energy that I picked up on in hyena, like a different aspect of what I said is showing up in each of these cards. Like with spruce, I feel this potential for you to feel very free and move more directly with your spirit, and just kind of have this wonderful flighty energy. With the turkey tail, I feel like this is talking about your fears and also your misconceptions about certain aspects of spirituality. Like, I just think that you're the type of person who likes to know what the hell is going on, and it's difficult for you to kind of cope with the unknowns and cope with the things that are a mystery. And spirituality is so mystery based, you know. It's so much like, obviously everyone's definition is different, but I think no doubt like all of us, when we're plunging into a spiritual space, a metaphysical space, we don't, as humans, we can't access everything that is non-physical. So when we're first trying to explore, it's completely uncharted territory for many of us, and this can be very scary. Like it's a natural inclination to be afraid of the unknown. So I do feel like that hesitance is coming up with the turkey tail, not really understanding like if you have what it takes to explore, if you'll be safe also is like what I'm feeling. And like if you, I just feel a sense of like you not feeling like you're ready. Like there's some sort of prerequisite that you feel that you need to be able to reach in order to be a spiritual person or a spiritual practitioner. And I will say that like if you are trying to be initiated into a specific tradition, especially if you didn't grow up in the tradition, or if you're not from the region in which the tradition is being upheld, it's very important for you to research, right? It's very important for you to show reverence towards that tradition and kind of like pay your dues. But that is for if you're trying to do that, right? If you're trying to be initiated and to be a practitioner of a very specific thing. But if you're just trying to like be a solo practitioner, there's a lot that you can do on your own. And there's a lot that you can do to start planting seeds that will expand into this community aspect. So I do want to reassure you that like you don't have to have all of your shit together in order to start practicing. In fact, like it's very important to dive in, and it's very important to kind of learn through the process of doing. But at the same time, like it really depends on what you're trying to do. So perhaps getting clear about how you want your spirituality to look is going to be really helpful, because then you can decide, okay, does that mean that I have to take some courses about this? Does this tradition require that I travel to a place and get to know the people working in this tradition, find elders and learn from them, or is this kind of an eclectic personal practice that I am building myself, and maybe I just need to trust myself a little bit and kind of go for it. There's so many different ways to be spiritual. I think that you have an interest in the collective experience of spirituality. So maybe there are some practices that require, sorry, hold on. I think maybe you are interested in like getting initiated into some sort of tradition. But you really just have to decide for yourself if you're willing to be committed enough to go down that road and to not take it lightly. And going back to the hyena energy and that kind of need to be free and that need to be a little bit rugged and be a little bit crazy, like it's okay to have reverence for the way that you do things, and you can have reverence for being crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I think something that's really helpful about embracing trickster archetypes is that like it doesn't mean that there's nothing sacred in being chaotic. Like finding joy and finding spirituality in chaotic rhythms can be very empowering. And so I just want to reassure you that you can start today. Like, you don't have to change your life right now completely and move to the other side of the world and like live on a mountain to be spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, right? But it takes intense dedication. And I think that you have a lot going on in your life. I think that you are you're very artistic and you're trying to build something, and I think weaving spirituality in your daily life is going to be much more beneficial than like trying to uproot your entire life from the ground and start from scratch. Like that's really the energy that I'm getting from this. And also wanting to reassure you that like there's community all around us at all times. And if some point down the line you want to do like a very intense spiritual retreat or learn from the elders and do all that stuff and dedicate your life, like I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just reading the energy around you right now, and it feels like you have interest about these things, but you really need to, in that case, research more and learn more and just live your life for a little bit longer before you make such an intense decision. But that doesn't mean that you aren't already spiritual and that you are not worthy of believing that you can be spiritual in everyday life. You can be spiritual and eat Doritos. You can be spiritual and have a 9-to-5 job. Something I saw on my TikTok For You page the other day was this guy who was working construction, and he was doing a tarot reading on TikTok, like on his break, like he was wearing like his construction uniform. And I just thought that's so fucking cool. Like there was something so refreshing about that, like seeing different types of people take up this spiritual path and weaving it again into their daily life, and appreciating that we can find spirituality even when we are still deep into our material world and have real life responsibilities to take care of. My throat is getting dry. But I'm right about at the 20-minute mark. So pile number 1, I think I'm going to end it here. My final word of advice to you is try to trust yourself. Before we go, I think I'm going to try to channel like some actions that you can take, because I talked a lot about your situation and kind of like flip-flopping back and forth between wanting to dedicate yourself and also wanting to be sort of free and eclectic. So I want to think about some actions that you could take to deepen your spirituality. Just give me 1 second. Okay, interesting. For some of you, I'm hearing swimming. I don't know. Water being very significant. The rain just picked up outside of my window. An amazing thing to do is just infuse intention into everyday activities. So like using the time that you're in the shower to be like, okay, my intention is that I'm going to take this shower and wash off all the mucky, yucky energy from my day in the shower, and I will emerge feeling clean, feeling confident, and just feeling centered into my energy. Great, you've grounded yourself by taking a shower, okay? Something that I have decided that is great for me to do is like, when I need to ground myself, sometimes I just need to eat something, you know? Like, it's not always sitting down and meditating. Like, I promise you that when I'm done with this reading right now, I'm gonna go eat some Cheez-Its, you know? Like, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna eat some food, and it's gonna help me, you know, come back. It's gonna help me center back into my energy. So weaving the mundane and magical is going to be really important to you. But going back to like the kind of performer part of you, if you perform comedy, if you perform music, if you do anything that is facing the world, weave some magic into that shit, right? And it can be as simple as putting some magical intentions into it. It can be as simple as putting on a magical oil before you go on stage. It can be as simple as wearing an outfit that has some spiritual meaning to you. There are so many things that you can do right now. I feel like right now it's just really helpful for you to be able to focus on the mundane stuff, because you just need to get yourself acquainted with the facts that you are a spiritual person, that you can do this. And there's not a million prerequisites that you need to be able to sit down and be a solo practitioner. It's amazing that you feel that way, because it shows a level of awareness that you need to respect spirituality. You need to respect your tools, you need to respect practices, you need to respect different cultures and how they experience spirituality, and all of that is really important. We don't want to just like do shit for the hell of it, right? But it doesn't mean like keep yourself caged, and it doesn't mean that you can't interact with things as a spiritual person. Pile number 1, I really hope that this helped you. Really enjoyed giving this reading to you. If you enjoyed it, please hit the buttons that everyone, you know the buttons. Please hit them. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. And again, if you want a personalized message from me, a personalized reading, my email address is down below, and I would love to hear from you. But otherwise, I will see you the next time that we're doing tarot together. Bye. Hello, pile number 2 choosers. Welcome to your reading, where I will be exploring for you how to strengthen and deepen your spirituality, your spiritual gifts. Hopefully we can dive into the energies that are around you, as well as maybe, you know, some psychic gifts that are specific to you. But I'm going to start your reading, and we're going to be opening it up with an animal spirit card from Krans. And the intention that I used for pulling that card was basically like an animal familiar. So whichever animal shows up is, first of all, going to tell me a little bit about your energy, but also it's going to be significant to your journey at this point in time. So it's going to be significant and provide some guidance and messages around your spirituality. So let's get started. Let's see who your animal familiar is to open up this reading. You've got the turtle. Okay. I love it. I love it. Okay. So, the first message that I get with the turtle is that you are a very selective person when it comes to sharing things about yourself, specifically when it comes to your spirituality. So you tend to keep things under your shell. You're very like careful about understanding that everyone has different experiences, and for you to hold things sacred, there has to be a level of it being very close to your chest and like very personal to you. I think this is a beautiful quality. The only thing, like the potential blockage there, is that when it does come time for you to share any spiritual truths or creations or any messages with the people at large, it can kind of be difficult for you to do that, because I feel there's this, how do I want to word this? I think that you were taught that what you had to say didn't matter by a lot of people, and so you had to spend a lot of time building yourself up, and part of that process meant keeping things very close to yourself, to protect the important thing, right? Like protecting this very like soft center of yours. And you're moving into a place in your spiritual life and in your life in general where you have to understand when those defenses can fall away and when actually they're supposed to fall away, and when you're supposed to have them, which can be a really difficult line to walk on. It's something that Spirit is wanting me to bring up. That is an experience of mine that I had. I have this protection oil that I use, and I kind of use it in place of veiling, where like I'll use it and just like put it all over my hair to protect my spiritual energy and keep me protected from other people's mucky energy, basically. And there was one day where I tried to put it on. I forget, I was like going out to dinner or something like that, and I tried to open the bottle, and the bottle cut my finger. And in that moment I was like, okay, I don't need to wear this protection oil tonight. Like, for whatever reason, Spirit doesn't want me to use it. And I think that in general I relate heavily to that idea of like using that idea of needing protection and running with it to the point where you're actually blocking out some good things that you're like supposed to be letting in. So I want to let you know that it's totally understandable that you are holding these defenses, and defenses are absolutely necessary. You just want to make sure that you are trusting yourself to discern who is safe to share with and who is not. And this means developing that intuition, right? I'm also getting that you could look back into the past and think about any visceral sensations you had in your body before you would like spend time with someone or after you would spend time with someone, and kind of using that as a sort of compass. I know that for me, like a bad sign for me is like feeling a lot of pain in the stomach, or what people could call butterflies. That to me, I mean, for you it could be different. That could be a sign of just like adoration for someone. For me, if I have butterflies, it just shows me that I don't feel safe. And so that tells me, because I've had several people in my life who like gave me that really uneasy gut feeling, now hopefully, you know, the hope is that I can move forward, meet new people, and like understand how my body feels in the moment, so that if somebody gives me this bad feeling, you don't have to do anything drastic, but just like step away, you know what I mean? Or just be extra cautious. It doesn't even mean that you have to cut people out of your life. Could mean that that's a night where you put the protection on. So Spirit is really talking here about your boundaries, and letting you know that you've come a long way in terms of learning how to put up boundaries, right? And learning when it is necessary to have them. Now the lesson is like understanding when the boundary is becoming a problem and it's prohibiting you from experiencing connection and experiencing joy, quite frankly. So it's not to say that you're doing anything wrong. It's just like, hey, watch out for this, because it is possible to have boundaries that kind of bite us in the butt. You know, it's possible to have boundaries that keep us further from people that we actually would benefit from being closer to. So just keep that in mind. But you do have a very like special center. Like, I feel like your spiritual energy is just so pure, and it's so beautiful, and it's so loving. You don't want it to be taken advantage of ever again. And I completely understand that, and you should kind of covet that and like keep it safe and hold it dear. But you also have a responsibility to share that purity with the world. So it's about to be time for you to get out of that shell a little bit more, is what I'm really feeling. Like you're transitioning now, and so you're still kind of needing to be in hermit mode a little bit. But I feel like you're just approaching a season in which Spirit needs you to show up, and Spirit needs you to be a little bit more selfless in terms of sharing your energy. But in order to share selflessly, you have to trust, right? Sharing selflessly without having trust in yourself in place and without having a steady foundation is going to be really damaging. So perhaps also some of the work here is making sure that you have practices that make you feel protected, right? Like before you're going to a new location or a crowded location, you know, whatever you have to do, meditating for a little bit, wearing protective clothing or jewelry or anything like that. Like, you can use these things, continue using these things, but just kind of embark on that journey afterwards, knowing that you're fully protected, so you don't have to like shut in on yourself, okay? It's very important that you show up more freely in your life, especially when it comes to interacting with other people. There's something about your energy that is just, it's very needed. And I don't mean to say that you like need to give yourself away necessarily, but it does feel like this is like part of yourself and part of your journey that is really important, is to share with others and is to like let people experience your energy, because it's rare, you know. What you have to share is uncommon, but at the same time, like, you belong to yourself. So finding a balance between those two things is what you're moving into right now. And the turtle energy is really encouraging you to find that home within yourself, and then, you know, to leave the home and going back and forth in a healthy way. But I feel like you're really moving towards that, so I don't think you have to worry too much. Spirit just wanted me to let you know of the potential pitfalls kind of that protective energy, but you are doing an amazing job of like learning how to protect yourself. So that is what I want to say about that, about the turtle being your kind of guide here. Next, I'm going to move into these Plant Spirit Oracle cards, and just like the Animal Familiar, we're going to look into some plant allies that are guiding this reading and helping you to better understand how to deepen your spirituality and perhaps like where your spirituality is going and the tangible steps that you can take to feel more integrated in that process. So let's see what plants are by your side. All right, we've got St. John's wort. This is creativity, inspiration, and flow. I love that card. It's gorgeous. We've got yarrow. Yes, invisibility, hiding, and discretion. That makes so much sense. And we've got earth, stability, grounding, and stamina. Oh my god. I love it. Okay. So let me just move these to make sure we've got a nice flow going. Okay, so I also, as I was pulling the Plant Spirit cards, I told Spirit that if there are any animals in these cards, that these would also show up as guides for you. So it looks like we've got, I wanted to say canary. I don't know if that's a canary. It's some sort of yellow bird. So we've got a bird there, but we've also got a moth as well. A lunar moth? I don't... I'm saying these things confidently, but I'm not confident in that. Anyway, we'll just use those animals. Yes. So pile number 2, your energy is so beautiful. It's so representative of the yarrow card, and this is one of my strongest plant allies. So I really feel connected to your energy, and since we literally got the earth card, I feel strongly that you have a prominent earth placement, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or you are just a very grounding force. The thing about having earth energy or embodying earth energy is that, like, sometimes, well, all the time really, our very presence provides grounding and stability for others. So I am a Taurus. I have a lot of Taurus placements, and I've seen this in myself where, like, I don't even try. Sometimes I try, but a lot of times I notice that my energy provides grounding and stability for other people. People are very comforted by my energy, and even like the way that I just embody myself, moving around the world, there's a disarming quality about earth signs, really. Like, we know how to make people feel held and feel safe, especially people who have like a lot of air placements, because, you know, that is our kind of opposite. But I feel like a lot of earth signs, myself included, we struggle to receive our own stability, which sucks, right? So whether or not you have earth placements, this is the energy that you're coming out with. It is completely disarming. It is so stable and so consistent and so sweet. And your job is to learn how to experience your own grounding energy, which is easier said than done. Okay, we can project something out to the world effortlessly and make people feel a certain way and completely have a disconnect with how we make ourselves feel, which is a shame. But unfortunately, we are a lot of people feel disconnected from their self-love, and it's difficult to kind of process that and find it. But that is the journey that you're on. And a wonderful avenue for this is going to be creativity for you. With that St. John's wort card. And it is anything that helps you achieve a level of flow. So I'm seeing the image of you behind a glass wall, kind of like looking out at the world. Through this barrier that is made of glass. I just got chills as well. So I feel that you've been very insular, you've been very private. And this, you know, it could also be that, you know, the pandemic changed everything, and maybe you're still feeling you know, that insular thing, that kind of hermit mode, or it could just be an aspect of your personality. But you've kept to yourself, And what I'm hearing is you've kept to yourself for long enough, okay? It's time for you to believe that you have things to offer the world through your creativity and through your voice and through your presence. The world needs more shy people to be seen and heard. I feel that very strongly. Also, a random book recommendation that I feel like it would be helpful to give to you is the book Quiet. I think it's by Susan Cain. I don't know. I'll link it down below if I remember. But this is a book all about introversion and about how generally, especially in the Western world, we as a society prioritize extroversion and we uphold extroversion as like the best way to be, right? We prize people who get energy from social interaction, and we devalue people and cast out people a lot of times for being more introverted and being more kind of thoughtful rather than speaking. And there's something about your energy that really lends itself to having people think differently, because you're very special. I don't know. You need to allow yourself to be different and stand your own and be your own person and learn how to share it with the world. It's very, very important for you right now to do so. So I want to encourage you to prioritize grounding in your life. Prioritize taking time out of your day to find stability. To me, that's all that grounding means. A lot of people say, like, grounding is taking your shoes off, going in the grass and walking around, right? Having the connection to the earth. To me, that is a form of grounding. That is not the only way that you can ground. You can ground by taking a shower. You can ground by eating a good meal, by meditating, by stretching. You can even ground by having a good conversation, calling your friend on the phone. You can do so many things. All it means to ground is like to center back in on your essence and to get into your body, get into the present moment and feel stable and feel safe. So cultivating that safety is just of the utmost importance at this time. And something about that is, I'm also hearing it's going to be healing your heart. But focusing on grounding is going to help you emerge. So you've been in this new moon phase where you have been hidden from the world in this kind of like this darkness. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, that's just what the phase has been like. But I feel like you're moving towards seeing the light. I mean, sorry, not seeing the light. You're moving towards a more full moon energy. So shining brightly, being seen, being noticed is really important. Allowing yourself to be noticed. I think I want to pull one more card for you, pile number 2, before we head out of here. And I don't know, I think I'll use the Uncommon Tarot because there's a lot of moth imagery, and your energy it's very moth-like. So like I was talking about with the earth energy, I feel like you do have this grounding energy, but with the moth energy, it's like you are a sight to behold, but you're actually very erratic. Like, people don't expect that you're as nervous as you are. Which I feel that. Whenever someone's like, God, I love your energy. You're so chill. I'm like, okay. I'm glad you see that. But sometimes it's like, you know, it's something so different on the surface than it is down below. But there's nothing wrong with that. All right, Spirit, can I please have one final card to wrap up pile number 2's reading? All right, we have the Seven of Coins. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you this. Like, every time I see this card, I think that looks like Justin Bieber. Do you see it? Comment down below if you see it. That deck specifically has like so many people in it that I like think look like other people. Okay, so we've got the Seven of Coins, my love. We are talking here about you steadily appreciating your hard work. You being patient with yourself is very important, and basically waiting out this the last remnants of this period of your life, because things are going to start happening. You're going to start like being noticed more. You're going to start probably going out more, and experiencing yourself as way more engaged in the outside world than you have been. But you're being required to have patience while this comes in for you. Okay, so just try to trust everything that you're doing right now, and every emotion and every trial that comes through from now until then is only preparing you for this next cycle of your life. I feel like there's just a few more things that you have to work through to finally like see the way that you've been working, and it'll finally sink in how hard you've been working on yourself, and finding your place in the world is really what I hear. But yes, be extremely patient with yourself. You don't honor your energy like the world will, honestly. Right, I just got chills. You don't honor your energy like the world is about to. Okay, so spirit needs you to honor your energy. so they can, I'm seeing you like being pushed out onto a stage. Like, oh my god, I'm getting the example of like, in High School Musical. Like one of the opening scene of High School Musical, where Gabriella is like super nervous, and she's really hesitant to sing. Or in Camp Rock. Oh, that also counts. Anyway, you're being thrust into being seen, whether you want to be or not. So your task right now, honor your energy. Learn how to work with your energy. Learn how to gather your energy back to yourself. And you have to trust that you have things to say, once again. I think I'm going to end it there, pile number 2. It was such a pleasure reading for you, and I hope that there was something of value in this reading for you. Once again, if you would like a personal reading with me, my email is linked down below, and I would love to hear from you. Otherwise, subscribe, hit the buttons, do the things, and I'll see you the next time that we are slinging cards. Take care. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading on how to strengthen your spirituality, your connection, and maybe looking into your spiritual gifts as well. We will see about that. But yeah, settle in and we will get right into your reading. Starting out with the top card there, which is an animal spirit card by Krans. And that is going to be used as an animal familiar card. So that is an animal energy that is around you, that is guiding this reading, but also will tell me a little bit about you and where you are in your journey, and what's going on. So let's get started. Pile number 3. Who is the animal spirit that is coming to guide you today? The dragon. Okay. So there's only a few mythical creatures in this deck, and you actually got the only mythical creature out of the 3 piles. So this tells me that you are, whether you understand it or not, you are spiritually advanced is what I'm hearing. You have a knack for connecting to the otherworldly. You have a knack for understanding, reading into, and even visiting other realms. And you in yourself kind of embody this mythical sort of energy. I'm hearing the man, the myth, the legend. So this could be, you could be actively working with this sort of energy in your daily life, or this could be on a spiritual level, but your spirit team regards you as very powerful, and very rare as well. So it is important for you to be aware of the importance of your energy, while also being humble and being grateful for your connection to spirit. So I think I want to actually pull a few tarot cards just to help us fall into this reading, because the dragon is just so all-encompassing to me that I would like to dive in a little more specifically. So I'm using the uncommon tarot right now, and spirit, please, let's pull a few cards to clarify where pile number 3 viewers are on their spiritual journeys. And what advice they need to know. Awakening. You've got to be kidding me. Okay. All right. We've got awakening. What else do we have? Oh. Wow. The Magician. Okay. I want one more, please. Such big energy coming from you. I feel like you don't even like fully understand the level that you're at right now. It's effortless, I'm hearing. Okay, one more please, spirit, so we can get into this reading. Thank you. Let's see what that is. The Empress. You guys. You guys. Okay. All right. How do I even... I feel like it's difficult to even... Hold on one second. What did I do here? Okay. It's difficult to even read into your energy other than like understanding that it's very solid and it's very big and it's very grand. But starting with that awakening card, you are going through an awakening right now, and that doesn't mean that it's your first one. So for some of you, it could be your first spiritual awakening, but for others of you, I'm hearing like up to like the 3rd or the 4th. And an awakening is just, it's a period of time, or it can be an event that really triggers spiritual advancement and awareness of spirituality. So we may be having spiritual experiences during this time. We may be hearing, seeing, feeling, experiencing things above the norm, or we could just be receiving information about ourselves and about our path right now. So you're definitely entering a season, a very fruitful season is what I'm hearing. A season of rapid growth and expansion. So very important for you to stay present during this process. And I keep hearing the word humble. I feel like this is, it's being given to me as like a warning, rather than like them telling me that you are humble. I want to actually encourage you to be humble, or maybe you're about to be humbled by this awakening that you're having. And it's not, I don't say this to like freak you out. It's more so like your energy is so magnificent that you need to be humble if you want to really like take the reins on what's happening in your life right now, and be very appreciative. I feel like you're being you're kind of like inheriting spiritual gifts, and you're receiving knowledge and blessings from your spirit guides, like by the dozens is just what I'm getting. Like awakening magician and the empress, you are a powerhouse. The flip side to that, though, which is why the humble thing came in as a warning, is that like if we are to harness power, we have to understand what power can do. So I'm getting the example from Avatar: The Last Airbender, if you've seen it, where like I think Uncle Iroh is like describing how to work with fire, and it's very important when working with fire that you first and foremost understand that it can be extremely dangerous and detrimental if it's wielded in the wrong way, and it can hurt people, right? So that's really the energy that I'm getting, is like recognizing your own power isn't always about stepping into feeling confident. It's not always about that passion. It's not always about seeing yourself as great and amazing. Sometimes the lessons that teach us about our power are situations where we realize that we've fucked up, that we've realized that we've hurt people, that we've realized that we've directed our energy in such a way that we've actually caused harm and caused destruction. So I'm not saying that you have done that or that you have caused major harm. I mean, we all, we all do as humans. There's not really a way to get around it, but I am saying that like it's really, really important for you to be intentional about how you are showing up in the world. Sometimes we make the mistake of believing that we're not powerful and believing that we cannot change things. And it's kind of ironic, but sometimes if we see ourselves as powerless, we use our power, but we use it in the wrong way. So you're like convincing yourself that you have no power, but everyone has power. Everyone has influence, is what it's about. And you have to be careful that you're aware of your power and your influence so that you can use it to help people as best as you can, right? It's never going to be a perfect process, but whatever change you're undergoing right now, it's just, you're leveling up so fast that I also feel like Spirit is also warning you that if you do not find this humble and grateful place, you might not be able to access your well of energy, okay? So your guides are coming in as very strict, but it's because you're very powerful and you're very important. And if you want to be a good influence on the world, then you have to kind of take your time and put one foot in front of the other and really be present in how you're sharing energy with the world. Very big energy. I know not many specifics came in, but we are going to read some more cards, so hopefully that will clear some stuff up. It's just your guides are just really trying to veer you away from arrogance and trying to veer you away from only acting from an egoic place. So understanding you're the shit, but understanding that you are a part of everything at the same time. And so if you're the shit, then everyone's the shit, That's not to say that you can't believe that you have something special, but you just thinking bigger, is also what they're saying, is like, if you are expanding a business, right? Thinking about how you can, if it's flourishing, thinking about how you can give back to communities that matter to you and communities that need help. If you win the lottery, I'm just throwing out examples. I hope that you understand the metaphor that's trying to come through. But like, if you win the lottery, buy yourself the car, right? Like secure housing, like whatever you have to do. But also like what wider changes do you want to implement that won't only help your life? So making sure that your needs are set, making sure that you feel confident in yourself, and then like kind of using your resources to help others. You are being guided to use your power for good and to use your influence for good. If you have a social media platform, right? Not just using that platform to feel good about the work that you're doing, not just using that platform for social engagement and to grow your business, but using that social platform to talk about social issues that matter to you, you know, to promote the mutual aid, you know. You can be centered in on self while also being centered in on communities at large. So finding the balance between those two things is going to be very helpful for you. But overall, like, you have this nurturing Empress energy that's coming through everything that you touch. Everything that you touch turns to gold. So make sure that you're touching things, right? Like, make sure that you're not only kind of slathering yourself and your immediate loved ones in love or in abundance or in whatever you have a lot of right now. Make sure that you're spreading it, okay? Because it'll only make good things come back to you, and it'll also teach you valuable lessons about how to wield your energy. To round out your reading, I'm going to pull some of these cards. These are Plant Spirit Oracle cards, and similar to the Animal Spirit that I pulled, these plant cards are just going to come in as allies for you to help teach you about where you are at this point, and get a little bit more in depth into your situation and how to grow your spirituality. So let's start. All right, well, what plant spirits are here for pile number 3 viewers? First off, we've got Wild Yam, intuition, omens, and femininity. Definitely feel that with the Empress energy. Just reminding you that femininity does not have to be gender specific to people who identify as women, but there's just something very nurturing about your energy, very intuitive and also receptive about your energy. And I actually think that this side of you is something that you're not as aware of as the more active side, which is coming through with the Magician. They're almost like two sides of the same coin, I'm feeling right now. So taking more time to consider the signs and synchronicities that are already around you, and doing with what you have, feeling into the energy that is around you, using the tools that you have at your disposal, and trusting that everything that you need is within your reach to create the outcome that you want. So balancing that active and receptive side with Wild Yam. Then we've got Plantain, innocence, naivete, and unaware. And the last card is Black Cohosh, purpose, direction, and vision. Okay, so pile number 3, I feel like for a lot of you, you don't understand what to do with your energy yet. You don't understand where this path is taking you. You just feel that things are changing, and I think perhaps this is just coming from like a lack of experience. Like maybe you entered a new field, or like something changed recently. That's giving you this kind of like deer in headlights sort of vibe, where you're not sure how to like cope with what's going on. And it's so funny. Like I hope that what I said earlier didn't like scare you off or make you feel like I was like scolding you about like, you know, making sure that you're humbled, you know. but I feel like you're just naturally also being humbled right now, just based on your position in life. And if this hasn't happened for you already, I do feel like this next kind of part of awakening for you is like you being thrust into a new place, physical place, or, opportunity that is like really out of your wheelhouse. And you just feel like almost like a kid in a candy store is also like what I'm getting from that plantain card. You are very innocent and there is a childlike quality about you, but unfortunately the flip side of that is that sometimes you are ignorant to how you affect people. And I don't want to sit here and like tell you that that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing. But sometimes, like, unfortunately, being unaware can, like, cause damage. I don't know why that message is coming through so strongly. And, like, we can't know what we don't know, right? But I think Spirit is just trying to help you learn that. Like, learn the consequences of your actions, but more importantly, your inaction. And understanding that, like, some more effort has to be put in like finding that direction and enacting that purpose, because whatever position you're in your life right now, you're there because Spirit needs you to orient yourself there and figure out in yourself that you are very powerful and that you have what it takes to be thrust into the unknown. But for some reason, like, I feel like it's just really hard for you to focus. Maybe that's what I'm like picking up on. Very scattered energy, very, unsure of oneself and unsure of their own potential. But you have the most powerful reading of any of these groups. You have the most strong, potent spiritual energy of any of these groups. So I'm not sure what it is about you that makes you feel so unsure, but Spirit is testing your intuition heavily at this time so that you can get out of this scattered energy and sort of spiritually mature a little bit. Like, and it's okay. There are always aspects of childlike energy that are important to hold on to. But I feel like this like push and pull that you have with your own power and responsibility, like, it needs to shift. And one of the most important things that's going to shift it for you is paying attention to the signs and synchronicities that you are receiving right now from your spirit team. So you may be seeing like deer, like horned, like beings with antlers, and you may be seeing dragons. You may also be seeing birds. Hawks may be significant. Paying close attention to the world around you and finding more presence. You're also very in your head, so Spirit wants you to work on grounding into the body anywhere lower than your head than that you can manage. Move your awareness from your head even down to your throat, down to your heart, and kind of work with yourself to conceptualize your energy sitting lower in your body, and that will help you to have a more grounded energy. Overall, pile number 3. If you feel like you're being put through the fire, or the trials and tribulations that you're going through are just like really hard for you, I just want you to carry this next piece with you, that you are receiving this information right now. You are receiving this guidance right now. You are learning these lessons right now because it is time for you to. And it is time for you to because you are ready. So try to internalize that the struggles that you're facing are not proof that there's something wrong with you. They are proof that you are learning, and they're proof that you are alive and flourishing as a spiritual and physical being. And nothing that I've said to you is anything to be ashamed of. I really want to nail that home, okay? Each of us has to deal with a push and pull of being an individual, but also being within the collective. We all have to deal with wanting things for ourselves and wanting things for others. We all have to be humbled. So whatever initiation Spirit's throwing at you, I do feel like they're kind of throwing you in the fire a little bit. But it's because you're the damn dragon. Like, you can absolutely do this. If anybody can do this and learn this lesson, it's you. It's tailor-made to you. And you know, a lot of people, spiritual people, love to say this. I'll say it to you right now. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And that is where that centered, humble energy is going to really serve you, by being like, yeah, this sucks, but I'm not a victim. This is merely a byproduct of me trying to change my life. This is merely a side effect of me pursuing more authenticity and engaging with a spiritual and creative life. Nothing bad, like, it's not punishment. Really want to nail that home to you. These changes are going to be great in the long run. They're just teaching you how to orient yourself, how to get yourself out of confusing and new situations, or not get yourself out of, but how to find comfort in being uncomfortable, and how to center yourself when you feel really discombobulated. And it's going to bring you so much strength and so much fortune in the future. So I love you, and you're doing a great job. And I'm sorry that I had to give you, I'm not sorry. Okay. Maybe I feel like it came off super harsh, but then I'm going to watch this back and I'm going to be like, I love you, little baby. And I'll be like, what? You weren't hard on them at all. But it just feels like I had to give you some tough love. So I really just want to nail it home that I'm not here to chastise you. Okay. I'm just here to be a little guy and give you messages that will hopefully help. So I'll end it here. I hope that this helped in some way, shape, or form. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, my email is down below and I would love to hear from you. Press the buttons, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, but overall, loved reading for you. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you the next time that we're slinging cards. Have a great day.